Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Before we get into this, I just want to remind everybody that I am supporting the Thankmas initiative to help get money towards the Red Nose Day campaign. There's information about that in the description, and I should still have a live stream going that is in support of it, kind of helping raise awareness to that. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, you don't get the bell, you can head over to my channel and most likely check me out live streaming right now. I don't know what we'll be doing. We'll probably start with live reactions, but who knows what we'll be doing at this point. All right, with that filled out, today is special selection day, which means we're going to be checking out one from Bogdan Dacevic. I hope I said that right. Suggests Pryapisme un druide ist boy. I can't do it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It says it's the first track from their epic album Hyperblast Supercollider, an instrumental chiptune avant-garde metal, very complex and crazy stuff, and very close friends with Igor. Interestingly, we have a little bit more information about this. I was notified in Discord that the title is French and can be roughly translated as a druid has game, where he's acting like a neutrino, where game is not like a thing to play, but meaning wild animal you're hunting, like you're hunting game. What? Between the genre avant-garde chiptune metal, put it in the same group as Igor, and that title, I don't know what we're in store for. I really don't. This is going to be wild. I don't think it can be anything but wild. Oh, I am not ready for this. I don't think I could ever be ready for this. All right, let's get into it. Pryapisme. Those offbeat hi-hats, giving it a real fun, light feel to it. Ooh. Very warm tones here. Really enjoying that. This is Genghis Khan all over again. I'm having flashbacks. That is not a melody I would have put over that real groovy bass and drum. Holy segue, Batman. I thought this was in 3 due to our last tempo, but I think we've actually had a tempo shift. We're still in 4. Should have trusted my gut. We're in 6/8. Now we're back to 4. We got like a dark futuristic techno thing going. Oh my god. These segues, I think, are just the most ridiculous things. There's still 15 seconds left. Okay. I kind of figured with the band's pedigree we would have seen something very interesting pop up there. What other reason to leave so much dead air at the end? I have no words for this band, says the man who's probably going to talk about them for 20 minutes. Where do I even start, though? That's the thing. It is definitely the ants of the sky method of toss everything in the kitchen sink at the song, and if it doesn't stick, leave it in there, but only give it two beats or a bar and move on to something that does stick. It's like, I don't know. It's like that concept of just, throw darts and whatever you land on is what you pick, but you kind of put your darts in a shotgun and you hit everything on the dartboard. And so everything's in here. And my issue, yeah, we're going to start off with the negatives. That's not something we typically do around here, but it's something we got to do today. My issue with this is its lack of coherency. There is not a single idea that holds all of this together. It literally is random, singular ideas played in a row. Some of the metal aspects do kind of have concepts that tie each other to them, but in between, you get these snippets of elevator music or jazz or classical or rock or straight up just not rock, not metal. There's nothing that really holds it together other than the fact that every once in a while you will hear something that relates back to that opening passage. And as a song, that just doesn't work for me. As art, yeah, this is phenomenal. I love the fact that they can pull all this together and have a sort of textural. Okay, so there is a textural cohesion, right? None of the songs really, none of the sections feel 100% out of place. They are lacking strong cohesion with its relative sections, but there's still a textural, and I think that's the chip tuniness to it. It's not actually chip tune. Well, what is chip tune? See, because when I think of chip tune, I think of 8-bit, and 8-bit is extremely uh, restricted in its sound. But I know a lot of people kind of refer to pretty much anything that sounds like old video game music as 8-bit, and I kind of feel like a lot of people refer to anything that sounds like old video game music as chiptune. And I don't know how much of that is true. Not all old video game music is 8-bit. A lot of people tend to think of the 16-bit era and the 32-bit era as 8-bit music, even though it is doing things that are far beyond what the old uh, Nintendo Famicom and the Mega Drive could do. As far, not the Mega Drive, whatever came before that, the Master System. I think those were the two 8-bit ones. But yeah, everything past that was just far beyond. It's still some of our more memorable, uh, like old video game music. It's what we tend to think of, but none of it was really 8-bit. That was all a generation prior. So I don't know if that's what's going on here as well. Because to me, this doesn't sound like chiptune. There are quite a few instances where it sounds like real instruments, especially in the cymbal work. A lot of the cymbals sound real to me. But interestingly enough, it doesn't pull me out. And I really think it would. And I think that's just because a lot of it sounds realish, but I think it also has to do with the way that the distorted metal sound has evolved over the years. And distorted guitars have kind of taken on a chiptune sound, just with more punch behind it. Um, so I don't know. Some of that is my bias being thrown into this. Obviously, we all have different experiences with music. We can't all experience it the same way. I can't give anything objective about music. Everything has to be subjective from my point of view. But I don't know. I feel like I've gotten way off topic. We were talking about coherency. Um, so there is a sort of textural coherency. Almost everything through the song sounds similar enough that I wasn't taken out. It's not like if you were listening to, um, say, a metal band, and then you got some true 8-bit sounds to act as a sort of bridge between maybe your pre-chorus is all 8-bit. Like that would be distracting. It completely removes the listener because the entire textural soundscape has changed. And that doesn't really happen here. All these sections are very different musically, but sonically, texturally, the way that we interpret them as sound, there is a bit of a coherency. I won't say that any of these sections have timbres that feel out of place with the others. A lot of it seems to Not gonna go there. A lot of it fits though. I don't think there's any section where I was like, yeah, that feels out of place sonically. But as far as doing a metal section and then 4 beats of some light jazz and then going back into metal, that does not work for me. It is chaos. It is literally just putting segues in there that make no sense just because I don't want to talk about their intention, but to me, from what I hear, none of these see here, all right, I think I'm starting to formulate this idea. The main issue here for me is that none of the sections pay off. There isn't a strong resolution or transition into or out of any of these sections, and it does end up sounding just like a bunch of concepts played back to back. Now, there is artistic merit to that. Like I said, as a work of art, I enjoy this. It does a lot of cool things, and it introduces sort of counterpoint to proper composition technique, which has resolution and transition and sort of having a common thread between all of the separate ideas to tie it up into a cohesive story sonically. This is counterpoint to that. It does everything the opposite. It says we're not going to transition anything. Things could come and go. None of it needs to be coherent. None of it needs to have ideas that reflect the rest of the song. And I enjoy that on an artistic level. On a listening level, on a composition level, it does not work for me. It is too disjointed. There is some novelty in what's going to happen next. And a few of their, what I called segues, they were basically your transitions. They were 2 to 4 beats to lead you into the next section. They just had nothing to do with any of them. It would be like in a movie, the absurdity of this of this example. You have 2 people talking to each other about a party from last week, and one of them disappeared early from the party. They had to go to their house because their father was sick, and so they ditched the party early, and they were trying to figure out, talking, hey, you weren't at the party, the other night. We came together, but, you were gone before I left, so I was just wondering what happened. And they get onto the train, and instead of doing a, a, a smash cut into the train to see them coming on board and sitting, we have a wrestling match. You see someone get punched, slow motion, spit going everywhere, and then you get the cut into the train with them onboarding. And it's like you had these 2 ideas that were going to work just fine together, and then just this little snippet of something that makes no sense cut in between them. And that's what I feel like this was every 30 seconds. I think there's a very strong song in here, but it's cut up with a lot of smaller ideas that don't contribute anything other than uncertainty and chaos to the song. And like I mentioned, those are very good artistic qualities to put in music, I think. And I think it does a good job of creating something obscure. No, not obscure, obscene. We can go with obscene. That's an interesting word I don't think I'd normally pick out, but this is obscene. There's a lot of stuff in here that I don't think typically works together. I don't think anything would ever work together. I think in any other song this stuff would be ugly, but in this song I find it artistic. It is a way of chucking the user manual out the window and saying I'm going to do whatever I want. And like I said, on that point, I enjoy it. But on a listening point, it's incomprehensible and I don't understand what's going on. And I kind of touched on this earlier. The chiptune the chiptune part, I need to look into what is chiptune because this does not sound like chiptune to me. A lot of it sounded real, especially as I mentioned, the cymbals, especially at the end. That was one thing that stuck out to me was they sounded like sampled cymbals, not chiptune cymbals. I don't know. That's just a side note that I kind of rambled on about earlier for a little bit. What else? What else? That can't be it. There's something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, instruments performance. I don't know what is going on here as far as instruments go. I don't know if this is a person or a band. Maybe they all run their guitars through amps and pedals and cabinets to create this sound, in which case, wildly talented people. But the reason that I kind of talk about this a little bit more in the negative sense as far as listenability is because to me it sounds like it's all programmed, which is not a negative, but if it were performed, I would have a little bit of awe to the performance aspect of it, which I've spoken about in other bands like Krallis, where the song didn't necessarily hit me, but I was also awestruck by the fact that they would have to and probably have played it live. Stuff like Between the Buried and Me, Ant to the Sky, Audiophile, Extreme. These are songs that even if they didn't hit me on a personal level, I'm like, yeah, I love that music. I would still be in awe of the performance aspect because there's a lot of concepts in there. And I don't know if I can have that here because, like I said, it sounds programmed. And that's not taking anything away from the song itself, just takes away a little bit of my appreciation because there isn't a performative aspect to it for me to kind of drool over. um, if there is, though, and I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments because I would love to see if this is performed with instruments, a performance of this, a live rundown of this. Um, yeah, I was like, maybe one of these recommended videos is live Pryapisme, but none of them are. So maybe not. I'm not really sure where I fall on that one. Let's check out their Bandcamp real quick. I can do research, right? I always ask you guys to tip me up information, but I am also capable of Googling things. Also, this did not help at all. Very interesting, though. They have some cool little throwbacks to older video game related stuff on their Bandcamp. One of their albums is the cover for the Sega Master System games, which was basically a picture of the character on a white and blue grid with the name of the game in like basic font. Oh man, box art was different back then. What about their website? I'm kind of curious, is this one person? Why can't I get any information about this? About the band. Oh, there's a dude and a guitar. There's a keyboards dude. Drums, electronics, keyboards, programming, percussions. Ooh, he plays B-flat and bass clarinet and the saw. What weapon is the saw? An electronic guitarist, electronic and acoustic guitarist, bassist, and electro. All right, so it seems that the guitars are run through digital stuff. The drumming appears to be programmed, but they have keyboards and lots of guitarists. So, yeah. Okay, so I have a little bit more appreciation as far as the writing goes because the chaoticness of it and the speed of some of the sections is going to be difficult to pull off live, and they do pull it off live, I'm going to assume. So, yeah, I'm a little bit more interested in this now, but I don't know. Something about it still it's cool, but it's nothing I would go out of my way to listen to, which is sort of a shame. I don't know. All right, that wraps this one up though. Kind of a weird note to go out on. Usually I have a little I mean I do have praise about it. I love it as an artistic piece of work. Just not entirely in my wheelhouse as far as the listenability goes as a casual listener. All right, so this is where you guys can hit me up in the comments. So let me know what you thought, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. If you have live videos of them playing, I would be interested in it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the drumming is programmed, but some of the guitar work is insane. And just being able to transition into and out of all of these different sounds and styles and feels is impressive on its own. So I wouldn't mind checking that out. All right, that wraps this one up. Comment section, I said description box, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. There is a link in, well, there's a few links in there for Thankmas and the Red Nose Day and the Critical Reaction Thankmas campaign page if you want to help donate to this whole thing. And there's also information there if you're interested about Red Nose Day and what Thankmas is and all of this stuff. If you can donate, it's greatly appreciated. It helps get food into hungry kids this season. If you can't, just sharing the link, sharing the Thankmas link by itself. You don't have to share the critical reaction page. You can just share the main Thankmas page, whatever, as long as the money gets raised. Well, as long as eyes get on the campaign and the money gets raised to feed these kids, that's all I really care about. I don't care about being the the highest donated campaign or anything like that. None of that matters to me, really. I don't even know if there's a prize or anything for it. I just care about getting that money donated to Red Nose Day, and I was the first person donated on my campaign, our campaign, the Critical Reaction campaign, and there's been a couple since. So really appreciate it. I put my money where my mouth is. Like I said, I was the first one to do that. And if you can donate or if you can share, I greatly appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC with the next critical reactions. We're doing unusual instruments next year. I mean, next year. God. You know what? I'm just going to end the video because I'm tired. I'll see you all tomorrow. We got some stuff to listen to. We're going to listen to it and talk about it. All right? Until next time, you guys stay safe out there. Keep being awesome and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.